Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about conquest points in Epic 7. How do you acquire them and how do you best spend them? So let's get right into it. The obvious place is Arena is one place where you can acquire conquest points. First off, the NPC challenge is quite a good place if you feel like you can't, beat the opponent in the opponent part. So here you get, 3 sky stones and 5 conquest point. But if you're new, you get 3 here. I think, my habit is to clear all these daily for the sky stones as well as the conquest points. Then we have, you could use the flags here to really, fight these opponents. And then when you beat them, I think you get 7 if you win. And this is a really good way to stack up your conquest points to consistently win. So that's one of the incentives to really, do well in PvP in Epic 7. Moving on, you can go to Sanctuary here. Click on the bottom left, the high command here. Here I have the building set up as 111, and I'm not sure how other people do it. So usually, if you start the game, I highly recommend you to start doing these as much as possible. When you set them up, you can put 4 characters in there, and you can see like the 10% is good, right? That's the max one. So try to get 4 10% people in there so you can boost the reward here. And the one I usually do is the trap removal and the northern messenger chase. This should be on cooldown at all times, and then you get 17 here and then 10 here. I forgot if it factors in the 40% here, but this is a really good way to rack up those conquest points. So now that got yourself a comfortable amount of conquest points, the question is, how should you spend them? And the number one priority here is the Molagora seed that you can get on a weekly basis. This is the one you must buy for 150 conquest points. Okay, that's your number one priority. And then we move on to the arena equipment here. As you can see, if you scroll down, because I purchased them already, these you can get for 1,200 conquest point along with endurance crest. So you have to be playing arena to get these crests weekly. And then this is the recent gladiator set here, which is destruction set. And obviously you have other sets here as well. There's the attack set, the 88 attack set, and then there is the 88 speed set, and then the 88 hit set, and now the 88 Destro set. So I'm going to go over which piece you might want to go for first and why I chose them. But before that, before the arena pieces, I think the third priority would be spending it on charms. But I'll go over that after I go over the arena pieces. So as you can see here, I'm going to go over which piece you should go for and why and why not. So I set it by recent so you can see which one I bought first. So first I invested in the boots here for the attack set boot because of the crit hit chance, crit hit damage, which is really nice. Here I didn't roll that optimally. A lot of them went to effective resistance, so that is one of the risks you do take because the roll can go haywire. But overall, even this boot here, 65 attacks, flat stat, I'm still using it on Arbiter Vildred. So if you do spend point on this boot, of course there's longevity with this piece. And when you're starting, gear don't really come by that often. So choosing which 88 piece will be a craft in itself. So it really depends on where you are in the game. So the second piece of the attack set I got would have been this one here, the crit hit chance. I'm using on my BBK here still, and I've made another BBK video, so you can check that out. And she is still using this piece to this day ever since I got this attack neck. But luckily I've rolled pretty high into crit hit damage, which makes it a pretty good piece to use. And then afterward I went for the ring here because of the 2 substat that is here, the crit hit chance and crit hit damage, which is really nice. I would have liked to roll more onto the crit hit damage for sure, but I still use this, and I'm using it on my Silverblade Araminta. And you can freely swap this around when new character comes out. And I went for the attack axe. This one, you know, you might be saying, oh, it doesn't have crit hit damage, but still, it's still a good piece because of the flat attack that you can get, and the attack percentage, the speed, and the crit hit chance. I'm using this on my Commander Lorena, which she mostly do normal raid for me on a weekly basis. And I think that covers about it. So the last two pieces here, I think it's really optional. It's like a luxurious piece because it doesn't have crit hit chance or crit hit damage, but it does have high attack. And luckily I rolled, you know, high into attack here, and then I'm using on what's her name? I forgot her name, but Sermia. And you know, I wouldn't get this piece first. I'll prioritize, you know, these with better substats together. And I don't use Sermia that often. And this Blaze Dingo, like this piece, you can probably safely skip because these are not the substats. The 3 of them are not, you know, really, you know, geared towards attacking. So I mean, 25%. Maybe you can argue you can put it on Charles or something like that, where they can be a bit more tankier. But I think these two pieces you can safely put it to the end. Alright, so this is for the attack set. So onto the speed set. For this particular one, clearly I went for the helm first here because at the time when I was progressing, I needed some tank or healer gear. And this one I'm using on Crow for my GVG right now. I'm very pleased the stat it gives me. It gives me health defense, which makes him very annoying to kill, and which, you know, makes him very tanky. And I'm gonna put out a video GVG with my Crow and how he can like 1 versus like 2 or 3. So I got the ham first because of the speed, health, and defense. Those are desirable for, you know, general tanks and healer. And the ER, it's added bonus for PvP. And then secondly, after the helm, I went for the neck because of the health. It could be used for healer. So when you are team building, you know, having 1 or 2 geared healer will help you progress quicker, like 1 cleanser or maybe, you know, 1 more main healer, PvE healer like Tamarine. And I'm using this on Tywin right now because of the little speed and ER, which can help, but mainly for the effectiveness for him to land his S3. And the health, I just want to make him tanky to soak up a bit. So this is relative good. If you're lucky, you can roll into speed and, you know, put it on a healer, and there's nothing wrong with that. And after I went for this ring here, the effectiveness, even though it's effectiveness, I am using it on my Bazaar so that he can land all his, you know, S3 to push back, S2 to land the blind and minus attack. So the speed is really nice here. The health, it's an added bonus to make him survive, like his survivability to go up. And he could use the effectiveness. That is the only reason why I went for this ring this early. But if you don't have Bazaar or any other hero, maybe Dizzy can use this, you know, effectiveness, you know, some speed here, attack, health, which is quite rounded. So you might, you know, acquire these pieces in different order than I did, but I'm explaining to you, you know, the value and the longevity of it. So I'm also using this on my Bazaar because of the speed, health, and ER, you know, general speed stuff. I could, and I will need faster gear, that's for sure. And then after I got those pieces, I went for the boots here, which my Baldrit's using. The speed he can, you know, factor in its scales, the crit hit chance, crit hit damage, these 2 stats alone. So, you know, if I didn't roll into ER, I think it would have been a really nice boots. So this one is definitely a buy for me. But some people might want speed, like flat stat speed over attack. So you need to, you know, juggle these things. And then this piece you can probably not get. It's not like an urgent piece, but I got it over time. So I'm showing you the order of priority here. As I mentioned before, ER, I would like more speed, which I didn't roll into. Unfortunately, this set, that's the luck of the game. Maybe some people roll like, into 2 digits, like 10, right? That would be really useful. I'm using on my Isaria right now. And then I think that about covers all the speed gear, the helm, neck. Yep, and I'm gonna move on to the hit set. So here we are at the hit set. As you can see, the first piece I went for was actually the crit hit damage neck, because 88 gives you 70% boost stats to your crit damage. And I'm using this on my Valet right now just for the pure stats. Like, even though you might not have matching set, maybe I think my Valet is running speed right now, or attack, or either or, and then 2 offset pieces. And this really, bumps up the overall stats, the speed he can use, attack, crit hit chance, ER. So overall, I'm very pleased with this neck. And at that time, I value, crit hit damage a lot, to do more DPS. And then fortunately, I think I had this on Fat Cat before, and I'm not using it right now. So health, defense, this could be really tanky piece for any tank or healer to bump up that survivability. Obviously, I want it more in speed. So, I'm not using it anyone right now, but it's a piece I can use at any time. Then I went for the axe here. Obviously the speed set, you can probably save it to last if you're not, in need of effectiveness, right? But I got him here for the health, speed, ER, effectiveness he can use to land his S3. So these pieces I'm still using till this day. Using this on Luna, the attack stat is fantastic. Effectiveness to land her S3, the armor break. So definitely use that on her for Wyvern 13, which I'm gonna try out in the future. And then lastly, I got the helm. The speed is always welcome again. ER, attack. These are not really, DPS gear. Well, I am using these for DPS, like, Valid, and this on a tank. And then I got them because, over time you just accumulate enough. So, and then the very last piece would be the armor here, which I'm using on series. You can swap this to any healer you like, your likings. If you need some stats there, like maybe you're running 4 other speed Ps, but you're lacking that one good armor here. So there are places, like, as long as you get them, but I wouldn't prioritize over the other sets right now. I think the attack and speed set are more important, and so that's really up to you. So here we are, the final set, the Destro set. The first piece I went for is the helm, for obvious reasons. It has 3 trifecta here for attacking. So here the trifecta, obvious. Luckily, this was for one of the better helm I rolled, because I didn't roll to ER, so that's a blessing already. Then the second piece, another no-brainer. When there's a trifecta on a attack set, like Destro set, then it's a no-brainer. And unfortunately here, I rode heavily into defense. So this showcased that sometimes, even though you get this piece of gear, you might not get, the RNG rolls into the desired stats. So obviously I would like to have crit hit chance and crit damage a lot higher. So this is something, you gotta keep in mind with these random pieces. So this is the second crit hit damage neck. Another, pretty solid piece. It lacks the crit hit. It does have the trifecta. The attack, crit chance, and crit damage. So, for people like RB or, Vuldred, if you get enough speed, it's usable for them for sure. So I actually prize this Destro set pretty high, because I'm using my Arbiter right now, the helm. Yep, Arbiter again. So basically this set just went to my Arbiter. And I can show you his stats after too. And then the axe I'm not using right now, so maybe you don't have to get this immediately, and prioritize Molagora Seed and Charms over it for now, so you can, skip this piece and get it later. Here we have the boots, the attack speed, crit chance. It's alright. I'm not even using these 3 pieces because I didn't even level my set, so he's just like a gear holder right now. And this, brought to my attention I should really, slap this on maybe a caster. If I get like S10 or Tenebria, I think those can be quite viable. So maybe these 3 pieces you can hold off, because I personally didn't really, you know, slap it on anyone big, but these 3 pieces here are going onto my RP for sure. So I would prioritize these 3 pieces over even the attack set because of the trifecta. Except for this ring here, obviously it just had the crit hit chance, but you know, really bumped up my RB's offensive power. So finally, you know, the first season, I think it had the helm. I only got the helm here because of the ER, and I rolled really nice into ER. So I slapped this on Angelic Montmorency, which she can benefit from the ER for certain rune skill sheet that she has. And health defense, it's alright. But this piece I stopped leveling because, so for that one I think you should just skip the 67 arena set and prioritize the other ones. So now with the arena equipment out of the way, the third thing I'll prioritize here will be the charms. This is why one of the reasons you should constantly get whatever CP you have, because charm can be hard to come by, and plus 15 in your gear will, you know, help you progress a lot. Having plus 15 gear, you just need the stats, right? And you can get lesser charm for 30, greater charm for 90 CP, and it's for the, you know, basically the whole left side, like weapon, helm, armor, the whole left side of your gear, and boots. And then so you can get the other 2 from here, which is pretty easy to get. So like for ring and charms, I don't have to ever worry about not having charms for those. But for arena here, these can go really quick because it takes up for all 4 slots of your gear, right? So that's like what, quite high. And one final thing I would like to touch upon is this thing right here, the unknown slate. So what you can do with an unknown slate is to increase the imprint. So basically it's a imprint for anyone you desire. So obviously you're gonna save this for your favorite character that maybe it's limited, which is not in the regular pool. People like Dizzy, if you're a fan of Dizzy, you might want to build her up. So personally, I have used it on my Arbiter because he's my favorite unit and I used him a lot. And some say, oh, you shouldn't use it on Arbiter because you can draw Vuldred or when Vuldred banner comes back, but I just don't want to wait. It's going to take years, and this one takes a big chunk of your resources, which is the Endurance Crest and the Conquest Point, 2,700. So I already have to, save up bracket for the next time they, put a new one, right? And this is a big investment for sure. So, but if you don't have enough points and you desperately need gear, then you might want to buy those pieces first. But this is hard to come by too. So, and usually you have a lot of time to get this before it goes away. So try to get it. You just need to play more consistently and put in the time. And then lastly, if you have extra like me and you just want to grind and progress, usually I just buy all of them, 90. I know this isn't, a greater charm, but sometimes, if you want to move forward in other aspect, like you want to do hunts and stuff, you just get it, grind, get gear. So it's really relative to, if you need to level your gear. Like at this state, I already cleared out the gear, cleared out the slate, cleared out the Molagoras. Then I look to get this. This is the very last thing you should spend on. And I'm gonna just do a little quick recap here. So here, I whipped up a chart for the ease of use for you to remember. The Conquest point spendage. Definitely go for the Molagora first. As always, high priority. Because these don't come by, especially if you're a free player. And then I will looking to get a couple of pieces of key gear for you to be stronger, to clear more adventure, and or getting higher in arena where you can get more sky stones. And then after, I'll look to get charms, which feeds into the gear where you need to plus 15 it, and hopefully you get lucky. And then the fourth will be the slate. Obviously you want to get it before it goes away, So you gotta manage that, whether you want to progress. And for rarity's sake, always try to save enough for the slate. And then lastly is the energy here, which 30 can get you 40N, 60, 80N, so you total get 120 energy. And that should be the absolute last thing you get. As always, this is a video on how to earn and how to spend your conquest point to maximize, the value here. Anyway guys, thank you guys for coming by, dropping by, watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, subscribe. That'd be fantastic, and I'll catch you